understand the names for like the quarter note and everything. So the first thing we start with something called the whole note. And I used to work at a pizza place, and we'd start with a whole piece of pizza that came out of the oven, and we'd have to make our first cut. And our first cut was always as close to the middle as possible. Let's just assume there's going to be 4 beats in a measure. Let's say this whole note, typically, it's equal to 4 beats. If we break this whole note into 2 pieces, we get 2 half notes, and they're both equal to 2 beats each. 2 plus 2, it still equals that. So that's why whole breaks into 2 half notes. Our second cut in that pizza was always straight across the other way, and that would create 4 quarters. We're going to talk about the quarter note, and that happens to be equal to, each of those would be 1 beat. So it would break down this tree. So now that original whole is down to 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. A lot of different ways we can do this. If you want to get it even fancier, and this is the next step, I'll show you anyway, but a medium pizza comes with 8 pieces. So we make another cut, and then suddenly we have eighths, and we have 8th notes. So occasionally, as a beginner, you will see the 8th note. And the 8th note looks like a quarter note, but it has a flag. And if it's paired up, it can pair to another one, but sometimes they're broken up. Looks like a quarter note, and then there's a little flag at the end. So these two are equal to this. It's just they're written a little bit differently. It gets a little confusing. And sometimes you'll even see them just like that. I would copy this. I would pause and then copy this rhythm tree. So then, when we go to 4/4 time, and we have to fill a whole measure with 4 beats, it can be done like this, with 1 whole note. The whole note has a corresponding rest. The whole rest looks like this, and to me, that whole rest looks like a hole in the ground. Because it's often confused with, we have our half note that can fill in 1, 2, 3, 4. Our whole note filled in 1, 2, 3, 4 also. But the corresponding rest to this half note is the half rest, and it's the opposite direction, right in the very middle of that whole rest. Some people think it's a hat. Oh, that's magic. Or I just remember the other one is a hole in the ground, and the other one's the opposite. Half rest. And then I showed you the quarter rest. It's worth just 1 beat. So let me use some combinations. Here's some combinations. Half note, which is 1 beat, 2. A quarter rest is 1 beat. And then maybe we throw in a quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 4. That could work. Maybe you don't want to do much work at all. You want to just do a lot of resting. This is beat 1, it's just 1 beat. This is beat 2, it's just 1 beat. This is a half rest. This is worth 2 beats. It's beats 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You do nothing. So you can just come up with all kinds of combinations. And once in a while, this actually top number changes up. So then sometimes there's 3, sometimes there's 12. Sometimes there's 5 beats per measure. You never know. So that is your basic overview of choir rhythm.